Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel today. This is Paul again from Kentucky Tacklebox, and today I want to talk about creek fishing and what to do if you are out creek fishing and you happen to come across a section of the creek that has some very large bass in it, and you happen to be brought ultralight or light gear with you, and you're having difficulty getting good hook sets on the fish. And this is a quick thing you can do while you're out there creek fishing to try to maybe give you a little bit of mechanical advantage back to your system. Okay, so typically, if you think about it, let me switch for a second. Okay, an ultralight rod has a lot of flex in it, kind of like this rubber band. And what happens is, you go to try to set the hook, the rod, because it doesn't have a lot of backbone, has a lot more flex. So it makes it harder to drive the hook into the fish's lip. And then on top of that, typically creek fishing rods, if they're ultralight or light, are using a very light pound test line, whether it be 2 pound or 4 pound, or I like to use 6, but some guys use lighter than that. They'll use 2 or 4. And again, you have the flex of the line during the shock load when the fish hits it. So how do you, if you find yourself in this situation where you're out fishing with ultralight gear and you come across some large bass and you're having extreme difficulty getting a good hook set to get the fish not only pinned but landed, what can you do? So here's a quick and easy fix as far as that goes. Now, most reels, whether it be spinning or bait casters, have what they call a drag adjustment on them. On this particular one, which happens to be a Shimano, and it doesn't really matter which type or brand you use, just whatever you like. But this one has an adjustment for the drag on the top. So as you can hear right now, it doesn't take much force to make the drag work the way I have it set up right now. But if I was out creek fishing and I came across some large bass and I was having difficulty getting the hook set, what I would do is just crank the drag down almost to the maximum to make it super difficult to get any drag on the reel. And by doing that, that kind of offsets slightly the shock loading on the line and the fact that the rod I'm using has a lighter backbone, so it doesn't have a lot of power to set the hook into the fish's mouth. Tightening down the drag will give you a slight mechanical advantage, so when you go to set the hook, you'll have a better opportunity of driving the hook into the fish's lip and getting it pinned so you can actually land the fish. Okay. Now, if you're already in the creek and you don't have another option, this is what I would recommend is probably your best bet. If you come across, some large or bass that are actually hitting aggressively and things like that. Now, the other option you could do is this, and some guys that pre-rig their stuff before they go fishing will actually, instead of using like a mono filament line or a fluorocarbon line, they'll use a light pound braided line, whether it be like a 10 pound or 15 pound braided, and then they'll just add like an 8 or 10 inch leader to the end of that. And that way the braided line, even though you're using like a light rod without much backbone, will give you some shock resistance as well. And in conjunction with the braided line and a short leader, like an 8 or 10 inch long leader, you can still adjust your drag up and down as well. So you can crank the drag down if you're finding you need more drag to help get the hook set with a light rod or an ultralight rod. That's another way to kind of help you not only get the fish hooked, but keep the fish pinned. So just a couple things to think about if you're doing a lot of creek fishing, and especially if you have some places or you got some secret fishing holes that happen to have some very large bass. It's a good way to kind of help make sure you not only can see the fish and throw your lures at the fish, but actually get the hook set well and then get the fish landed, because actually that's half the fun of fishing. Not just finding your great spots where the good fish are hanging out, but being able with the gear that you have to get a good hook set so you can pin the fish and land it. So just kind of an easy tip. And like I say, if you find yourself catching a spot by surprise that you weren't expecting, try cranking the drag down to near the max, and that will give you a little bit of load, which you're going to need, And believe it or not, even with the load cranked down to max on a lot of these reels, if you hook into a powerful bass, it'll still peel some drag off on you. Believe me, you'll be surprised. But anyway, as always, thanks for watching the channel, and get outdoors when you can. It's a great place to be. And we'll see you next time.